chest somewhere. You also probably want Erdrick's armor, and that's going to be located on one of 3 search spots, which we'll get to as they get started here. And then you want some sort of shield of some sort. So it's not technically required, but you definitely want these.
Yeah, definitely not required, but requires a lot more grinding than we would like to see in a race setting. So in the first chest in the throne room, we see the Stones of Sunlight. We see a magic key and another magic key. So we start with 2 magic keys. So this is going to be big because this allows access to many, many things all at the same time. Looking at their stats, though, their stats aren't what I would say are very super. Strength is looking kind of okay, but that HP stat is going to be a problem.
So right away we're seeing a little divergence here. MonsieurSlime is doing the typical. He's going to go save with the king and check the treasury, whereas Archfield just going to grind and get some experience right away. Checking the treasury is not that big a deal as long as there's no sword in there. So we'll see what MonsieurSlime finds in there. A torch is not that interesting. An herb is not great. Let's see. Another herb, whatever. Oh no, he's gold grind. Oh right, he has the glitch set up. He's grinding herbs. Basically, you can leave the treasury as long as there's no sword in there. If you leave the sword in there, that's really bad news. But it looks like he's going to check here. Looks like another torch, I guess. So I think
Yeah, I would not be surprised at all to see him just reset here. And ArchfieldMonk checking out his treasury is all would be expecting. Yep, there it is, a reset right there from him. So it's going to be an interesting kind of peek out here out front. I saw that ArchfieldMonk ran into a magician, and we're just a little bit out of attack power range for those yet. So there is a chance for a gold grind later, but that chance is pretty slim. We're just going to have to wait and see. Meanwhile, we have a Drakey and a Red Slime in the first opening zone, and they seem to be pretty friendly. So these first couple of levels should go pretty quick.
Yeah, again, even though these are newer runners, they both showed a lot of I want to say, experience there. Noticing the treasury had nothing and resetting to save that key.
Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing really of value in there. The herbs might have been nice. I gotta give the advantage to ArchfieldMonk a little bit here, though, because he picked up those herbs, and those herbs are could be huge here. So he was trying to pick them up, but then he ended up resetting. So he kind of outdid himself there. But we also start with the spell of sleep, so we see that they're trying to put that to use. Unfortunately, Sleepy Ghost with Baby Breath Scorpions in the first zone might make this a little bit of a grind.
Yeah, that's kind of unfortunate because the Scorpions are one of those early-ish game enemies that you want to take out, but not with that Baby Breath.
Well, that's definitely going to be dependent upon what we see with level 2. Level 2 could very easily bring them into range for that. But a Metal Scorpion looks like there's a little bit of a zone break there, so there's going to be some stronger enemies right in that forest north of the castle there.
It looks like MonsieurSlime got that Drakey, and he's going to be the first to level 2. And let's see what it has. Ooh, 10 power. 10 power is nice. So yeah, he might bring those Scorpions in.
I don't think it's going to bring those Scorpions into play because we're still only at 18 HP right now, but it definitely brings Magicians into play. And if they cooperate and have anything decent, it'll make them much easier to kill. Ghosts are also 2-shotable now, so it's going to be nice to see that.
Or 1-shotable if you get an excellent move like Archfield got.
Indeed, and it looks like Scorpions aren't super popular with that breath attack. Now, we've only seen them attack twice, so it could be 50-50, who knows. But I like this play here by ArchfieldMonk. It's definitely an aggressive play, but, I mean, 16 experience just automatically skyrockets him to the next level, so it's worth it.
Yeah, it didn't work out there, but that is very savvy to use the sleep spell to try to get that Scorpion, because that would have been worth a lot for him.
And meanwhile, over on MonsieurSlime, he reaches level 3. 4 power, 18 HP, and 5 magic. So HP is good, but not really much else to write home about on that one.
Yeah, so something to watch as these runners get going. We haven't had much agility in the first 2 levels. We've had maybe 2 or 3 points of agility on level 2 and none on level 3. As they start to explore, they're going to want some agility just to help them run from the meaner overworld enemies, and they're sitting on 14 right now, so that could really hinder exploration when they get to that point.
Yeah, and the big thing right now, I think, is just settling in and actually getting some grinding done. I think that's going to be big for these runners right now. That's going to be a big, huge deal. So, to answer the question in chat, ArchfieldMonk is indeed using the Dragon Warrior 3 Pilgrim sprite. And I haven't really paid attention to MonsieurSlime. It looks like he's Link from The Legend of Zelda.
I mean, I'm not sure why MonsieurSlime's not using one of the slime sprites. I feel like that was a missed opportunity, but, Link's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, well, iconic characters, you gotta go for it every once in a while, right?
Well, yeah, but he's MonsieurSlime, not Monsieur Link.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. And that Metal Scorpion still proving to be too much, but using good effect of that sleep spell there to guarantee running away from him, especially with this lower agility.
Yeah, both of them using the sleep spell really well, and then Archfield's back on the Scorpion with sleep, and hopefully it did work out much better for him. There you go, he's got level 4.
Yep, the first one to level 4. Let's see what it has. 7, 1, 8, 4. Still no new spells, but starting to gain some stats and things of that nature that'll help out a little bit later. That 29 strength brings this Druin into play, so let's see what happens. Oh, well, you can always just get an excellent move and one-shot it.
Yeah, the excellent move definitely brings him into play, but 1 agility, so that's still a concern for the...
Yeah, especially seeing as how we're seeing things like Metal Scorpions and Specters right outside. But ArchfieldMonk, the first to find our first town, which is Cantlin. I'm never excited when I see Cantlin first thing right off. But he does end up picking up, I believe that was the club there. So that will increase his attack power by 4 attack points. He's also doing some browsing in the shop to see if he does get a gold grind, whether there's anything worth it. And then he'll probably be making a very quick exit.
Yeah, the good news with Cantlin being so close is if there's a gold grind available in the basement, you have a lot of shops to choose from. So there was a flame sword, and there was a silver shield there at least, plus the shop behind the door. So you don't have very far to go if there's a gold grind possible in the basement.
Yeah, and one thing also to mention is that there is the magic key shop that is right behind that locked door there, but it houses the most expensive magic keys, so I doubt we'll see that. And MonsieurSlime making his way into Cantlin has a little bit more gold to play with.
Yeah, so I mean, you're not wrong. Like, Cantlin being there is not the first town you'd want to see because our runners don't have much gold right now. They have no keys, so they can't check the coordinates or anything. But it's definitely a thing later on in the game. You'll be happy it's nearby.
Yeah, absolutely. Meanwhile, we have ArchfieldMonk taking on a skeleton. A very strong favorite with the sleep spell to take this, which he does. And that puts him at level 5. Only 1 power, but we got 8 more speed, 10 magic, and we also picked up a new spell. The heal spell, okay. I'm on board with that. I like having heal early.
Yeah, we'll see if he wants to stick around for 1 more level. It's 165 is the next level, so that's a lot. That's a few skeletons. Or if he wants to start branching out and exploring with that heal spell.
Yeah, he could start swinging for Metal Scorpions as well at this point. I think his max damage is going to be like 4 or 5. So it'll take a few swings to take down, but that's a 31 point experience monster. The skeleton is 25, And then we also have Druids in this zone as well, which those Druids are 14. So I definitely think that he's making the right play here.
Yeah, I don't disagree. He's getting skeletons a lot, so picking up one more level before you go out and wander around is not a bad idea at all. And there he goes again, using that sleep spell, trying to get the metal scorpion. So with sleep and heal, I think he's got a good chance here.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It does require some luck, seeing as how it's a 1 out of 3 chance for that scorpion to wake up there. But this is going to be a long battle for sure, with us only dealing those lower digits, and he's going to peace out after seeing that it has the heal spell.
Yeah, that's kind of going to wreck their early game strategy. Once they get a little more strength, that won't matter too much, but they cannot attack that heal right now.
Well, and another good thing to bring up there too is if they pick up the hurt spell here soon, that wouldn't be a bad idea to use against them either. The hurt spell at max damage will put them in range for healing, but yeah, I definitely a lot to do. And the club's given him extra smacking power, so the stroll is going to be no issue for him. Meanwhile, MonsieurSlime has found the zone outside of Cantlin and is home to some Sherlock enemies.
Oh man, ArchfieldMonk got heal, and then all the enemies did too. He had the Droll got heal as well, so that's a little troublesome, but he should still be able to get this Druid first level 6, or not quite level 6.
Yeah, just short of it, but that puts him in good striking distance for it. Unfortunately, he has to use the last of his MP here, so hope for a good encounter here so that way he can pick up that level before intentionally death warping back to the king.
And there's a feature of the randomizer. ArchfieldMonk finally got a skeleton, but there's a feature of the randomizer. When you want to grind and when you want enemies, they are nowhere to be found. Ooh, MonsieurSlime using his extra key to check the coordinates, it looks like.
Yeah, with that heal spell, this is a good play. He saved at the king, so he's going to be able to keep this key. He's just going to go ahead and reset after this. And he's going to have some very early information. 25 north, 38 west from Tantagel Castle will be an item. Who knows, though? Meanwhile, we did see that ArchfieldMonk picked up level 6. I did miss the stat gains, though.
Yeah, just comparing, it looks like it was 5 strength, 6 agility, 4 HP, and a bucket load of MP, like 30 MP it looks like.
Yeah, that looks right to me as well. And with that large amount of MP, we're going to be seeing them taking on some enemies and hopefully winning a lot more often.
Yeah, and CD mentioning in chat too, that was a really smart play by Monsieur to save and get the coordinates. It's not going to work out immediately for him because it doesn't look like they can make it to the coordinates yet, but that was really savvy to pick up the coordinates, then reset and save that key. So that'll help him in the mid game for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's just play like this that leads to that 1-0 record that we kind of talked about briefly at the beginning, and you know what makes these runners such strong runners right outside the gate. And the big thing there is that's just a really heads up play. That's just him paying attention to the resources that he has and just coming out with a bang.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know what's there. It could be the armor, it could be the token, it could be the flute. I mean, in this case, that's such a heads-up play. I kind of hope the armor is there for him. I mean, the token will be fine, but there's no rush to get the token, really. The flute's kind of a zonk prize, so hopefully the armor's there and he can take advantage, because that was a really good play on his part.
Yeah, absolutely. And, this decision to grind out this next level here by ArchfieldMonk, we saw that just outside of Cantland we were already seeing Sharlock level enemies. This probably will work out to his benefit. He'll probably be dying a little bit less, and he's gotten enough gold to where he can go ahead and pick up an extra magic key, check what's in the basement here. This is just stellar play here. Patience and just trying to check everything that you can before moving on to the next area.
Yeah, and the nice part is they both check the treasury, so they know there's no real need to waste keys on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially now that they have the heal spell, they have 61 MP. I mean, that's just huge, and that just those herbs just aren't worth it. But we do have the grump.
Yeah, I mean, that's another one where it's kind of like finding Cantland near the castle. It's kind of a zonk for right now, but mid to end game, they'll be happy the jerk is nearby. So it doesn't help at all right now, but eventually that'll be good.
Yeah, and the big thing there is that they don't have to worry about late game decisions of equipping items that curse you and getting locked out of Swamp Cave if Breckenary is over there. And MonsieurSlime, I didn't see exactly where he was at, but he ran into a Wraith Knight. I wonder if that's just across the bridge there that we saw. That's how we actually get out of this beginning area.
Yeah, I didn't see it exactly either, but I think it was, just the west of Cantland somewhere. So I think that is the direction they have to go. South doesn't have anything, so they have to go across that western bridge.
Yep, absolutely. But this skeleton right here will be enough to get ArchfieldMonk level 7. No strength, 11 speed, 5 HP, 1 MP, and we learned Radiant. So no worrying about Dark Caves this time.
Yeah, and even though there's no power, that 11 agility is pretty nice. That's brought that back into normal range anyway, so that's good.
Yeah, absolutely. And 40 agility, you're gonna be you're not gonna be struggling to run away from quite a few things at this point. You're pretty much gonna be looking at run failing from anything higher than a Cantland level enemy in the vanilla game.
Yeah, I think it's 47 makes you a coin flip to run from anything that's not a Sharlock enemy. So at 40 agility, you're doing okay as far as.
So 40 agility is the cutoff for the Axe Knight and the Blue Dragon. So once they reach 47 agility, the only enemies that they're not going to be a coin flip to run away from is going to be the Red Dragon and Armored Knights. And seeing these scorpions take up so much time is definitely got to be frustrating for these runners. Both iterations of them having the heal spell just makes them a little bit more of a pain.
They're a pain, but at least the metal version is worth a decent amount. And we've got Archfield using the sleeve spell on the Wolf Lord and trying to take it out. So that'd be a really good boost if he could get that.
Yeah, absolutely. And compliments to MonsieurSlime here. He is closing up the experience gap a little bit. Even if ArchfieldMonk, which he does get the Wolf Lord there, his experience lead is about the same that it was while MonsieurSlime was in Cantland checking the coordinates. So very, very efficient grinding on his screen going on.
I was gonna say, Archfield has a little bit of an experience lead, but that's mostly because Monsieur was checking the coordinates. So Archfield has a little experience lead, but Monsieur has that extra information. Once they can go branch out and explore, he could use that to his advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. And an extra 4 defense power over on ArchfieldMonk's side with the purchase of the leather armor. So that's going to help with some things, but not everything.
So one of the classic questions in Randomizer is, when do you stop grinding near the castle? When do you branch out and explore? And I kind of like the idea to get level 7, as you see MonsieurSlime picking it up too. At this point, though, I don't know, 600 experience level 8. That's a lot of experience. If Archfield can keep getting these wolves and wolf lords, though, that's going to be good for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I can't really diss on grinding, on staying put and grinding. They don't have a whole lot of useful spells, with the exception of the heal spell. They have a maximum HP of 52 right now. Their agility is not looking great. They don't have a whole lot of attack power. So staying here, grinding out extra levels when you have enemies to do so, I respect that. And so it could work out well. Except for the Wolf Lord having Dragon Lord Breath. So, but we find a Drakeem over on MonsieurSlime's side over here, not dealing a whole lot of damage, but he should be able to take it out here. And he does. And we're going to get to see what is to the southwest.
And the answer is a whole bunch of swamp. All the swamp, apparently.
Yes, indeed. But this is a good thing for MonsieurSlime. He could count the coordinates right now. Actually, I mean, he's got a good visual from the west of the castle to figure out how many steps to the west this continent is. He could easily count the coordinates from here if he really wanted to. Those are some pretty friendly coordinates, and it seems to open up pretty wide over here.
Yeah, I missed it, but is there a reference point for him to check?
So just to the south and the west of the castle, you can actually see that point right there, right where it goes up into this open area that he's currently in right now. With the coordinates only being 25 north and 38 west, I'd say this is probably going to be a fairly easy count by the looks of it so far.
Okay, and I mean, he would definitely have earned it. If the armor is on that tile, he would definitely have earned it if he counts it out.
Well, and what I'm talking about there, CD, is that if they use the little peninsula off underneath of Tantagel Castle, they can just count the number of water tiles between that little strip of land there and the current landmass that they're on, and they already have a reference point of exactly how far they are from the castle. So a lot of experienced runners that count coordinates very, very accurately use reference points a lot. And it looks like there's 4 water tiles between the end of that peninsula and there. So that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4 south and about 10 west, just by kind of glancing at it. So, I mean, that's a fairly good position to be in at that point. So we get our first dark cave here. Meanwhile, level 8 giving no HP. I did see some decent attack power growth there. There was 11. And the grave is here with the slime. The metal slime giving 255 experience, the most of any enemy. But unfortunately, he ran away. They have a very high chance of running away if you have more than, I believe it's 20 strength.
Oh, MonsieurSlime couldn't keep the slime around. So MonsieurSlime in the grave found a bunch of nothing and the death necklace. The death necklace is a cursed item that may come into play at the end of the seed. You get, if you equip it, you get 10 attack power in exchange for 25% of your HP. So if the HP is high, and I don't know, we're looking only average for HP, but if the HP is high, we might see a death necklace later on. MonsieurSlime was debating if he wanted to use his key on the bottom of the grave. I wonder if he does a similar play where he goes and saves and checks the bottom of the grave. I don't know if it's worth the time. I think I just leave the 2 chests until I knew that I needed something, but we'll see.
Well, in looking at things objectively right now, MonsieurSlime, and just to the west there's still some swamp up to the north of it. So I mean, this might be the play. Who knows? It depends upon what's west of the grave and whether or not they can actually make it to anywhere of consequence. ArchfieldMonk also entering another dark cave here, healing up. And it looks like we got the mountain cave here, and he's doing it in the dark.
Mountain cave has 5 chests, 1 on the top floor and 4 on the bottom, so we'll see what he finds. He finds a wyvern.
And that sleep spell, not too bad of a chance to hit these wyverns, but giving them a little bit of trouble. I'm actually surprised that he's not just running here, because he's not going to be dealing a ton of damage, and that wyvern can eat up quite a bit of time. But this is working out pretty well for him so far.
Yeah, sleep plus the wyvern is usually pretty good. Also, Demarine putting up our wyvern stats there. 50% hurt, which is great at this point. You want him casting that hurt spell.
Yeah, absolutely, especially with this lower defense power. And I don't think that ArchfieldMonk picked up the bottom chest.
Yeah, honestly, I missed it. I didn't see him pick up the first one, but I wonder why he's not using the Radiant spell, though.
At this point, I would imagine that he's just trying to conserve MP, especially after seeing a wyvern, especially after seeing a wizard. I would definitely be on point with what he's doing here. But ArchfieldMonk finding the token in the cave means one of the 3 search spots is going to be empty.
Yeah, and thanks to Demarine for pointing out that it was an herb on the top floor and an herb next to the token. Yeah, Archfield found the token. That's really nice because the token is a little bit difficult to find sometimes. It could be on the overworld somewhere, or it could be in a chest, so you never really know where that thing's going to be. And it's always nice to pick it up and not have to worry about it.
Yeah, not much else worth noting here in the mountain cave. Picking up a couple of herbs, which will help conserve some MP, but other than that, not a whole lot.
And Archfield did pick up a cursed belt out of the last chest in Mountain Cave, so that gives us some information there. The token was in a chest, so that cursed belt must have been for the fairy flute, which means the fairy flute is on the overworld somewhere. It could be at the coordinates, or it could be in Cole, or it could be in Hawksness. But yeah, there's a fairy flute out there somewhere.
And MonsieurSlime making that play that we kind of talked about a little bit earlier. He is diving into the grave to see what he finds. We'll see if this pays off for him, though.
This is always a big gamble. If you find the sword or a harp under here, you're in golden. Otherwise, if you just find a couple of whatever items, it's a bummer. Dragon Scale is kind of a bummer. CD also making a good point in chat. Like, if he can survive to get the 2 chests, like, he doesn't know what's down here. This is a different enemy zone, so...
Well, the really nice thing about the second and third floor of the grave is that they share the top floor enemy zone that the mountain cave has. So he doesn't know this yet, but wyverns are up there. Unfortunately, red dragons as well. So that means that Archfield got really lucky on his dive through the first floor of the mountain cave.
Yeah, we know the token is in the bottom floor of the mountain cave, so you need to get through there. Answering Newbie's question, a couple people in chat answered already, but yeah, there's no gold grind available. The treasury had total garbage, I don't know, herbs, wings, torch, something like that. and the back of the basement was the jerk. So there's no gold grind available. We probably will not be seeing any silver shields.
So the big thing that was in the throne room was that the throne room had 2 magic keys in it. So they started with a key right off the bat.
Archfield has found what must be Tablet Cave. And is he going through that in the dark? Because that's... No, it can't be Tablet Cave. There's a wyvern there. Where is he? Mountain again?
I'm guessing this is Swamp.
Oh, good call. Thank you, Demarine, and thank you, Amused. Yeah, you're right. It is Swamp, huh?
Yeah, the cave that he's in is just northwest of the mountain cave, and we know that the grave was southwest.
I didn't see another cave 3 tiles away from it, so I didn't think it could be Swamp. That was from my seed last night.
Yeah, and we see that the experience has kind of come to a little bit of a standstill between the two of them, just kind of hovering around that same amount of experience for both of them. Archfield kind of lengthening that lead just a little bit, but MonsieurSlime still has that information advantage of the overworld search spot. And now that we know that one of the search spot is dead, it's a 50-50 chance for that to be the armor.
Yeah, I kind of like what Archfield's doing. He's exploring. He's getting some exploration done, but he's also keeping the experience going up. You know, like you're saying, the experience gap is about the same, so Archfield is not losing anything by exploring. So that's always a benefit. If you can explore and pick up experience, that's the way to do it. But of course, you never know.
Yeah, absolutely. And looks like he's gonna take a... Well, maybe not. He's using his herb. I was wondering if he was gonna take a death ward, because I'm pretty sure that he's just north of the grave right now, which isn't too terribly far from Tantagel. But if you can take out that wraith, why not?
MonsieurSlime picking up level 8, so we'll see if that gets him brave enough to start wandering around too.
And a metal slime near the opening zone. Unfortunately, these guys have sleep, so I don't think we're going to be seeing too many of them killed.
Ooh, and it's a good thing Archfield used that herb because he's found a town over on Swamp Continent, and it is... Oh, never mind.
Well, this is actually good for him. He's got a 6 gold in. He has a weapon shop that's right near the exit of town. You could easily check for a large shield here to tide him over and get some extra defense. Or he could even go for a hand axe, which would give him some more attack power. So, unfortunately, just the copper sword there, so just 6 more attack power for him. So, nothing too major to write home about. But he is going to pick up the small shield as well, getting 2 more defense, and that could help out exploration.
Yeah, we always talk bad about Breckenary, but he was almost out of resources, and Brecken will give him back his resources, so he'll be able to explore all the rest of Swamp Continent without having to worry about dying. Meantime, MonsieurSlime is in Mountain Cave. He's going to make a play for his... Well, he doesn't know it, but his token. And we'll see if he makes it. We know there's some mean enemies along the way.
Wow, he actually landed sleep on a werewolf. That's a pretty dicey ordeal. I believe there's 716 resistance. I'm not 100% positive on that. But getting a little bit of a lucky break here. No reds so far. Getting some pretty decent enemies here.
There you go. Good call, Amused. It was 7 out of 16 for sleep. Probably about the same as running, so there you go.
Well, actually, they're in pretty good position to run away from the werewolf. The werewolf is the only Sherlock level enemy that loses more agility than the other Sherlock enemies when trying to run away. So he's actually had a pretty good chance to run away. I'd say it's like 62 or 63%.
Archfield finding another town. Ooh, he found Remulder. Okay, well, he has keys already anyway. He saved some. But Archfield also got level 9 and was almost a 1-1-1-1 level, except the hit points scooted up. He got 15 hit points.
Well, here's the big thing for him. The big thing here is that number one, the Silver Harp is in the double locked, but he also saved enough gold from Brecconary to be able to purchase more keys, because he's only down to 1 key right now, I think.
After using the 2 there, yeah. I like finding the harp, though. The harp is really good to have on hand, because the harp is the one quest item you have to turn in. You have to find a guy in a shrine somewhere and exchange the harp for a Staff of Rain. And the nice part about finding the harp early is once you find that shrine, you just turn it in. You don't have to double back at all. So having the harp, he hasn't seen the shrine yet, but once he finds it, he'll be able to just turn the harp, and he will not have to worry about going back there.
Yeah, absolutely. And, another heads up play, him just knowing that he had enough keys to open up that chest. I'm not going to forget it right now. I'm just going to not take the risk. I'm not going to gamble with it. Let's just check it right now. And it paid off for him. There's so many times where seeds like this where constantly I see myself and other runners that forget about either the Remulder chest or the back of Garenham, things of that nature that just end up costing us tons and tons of time.
Meanwhile, MonsieurSlime did clear Mountain Cave. He got his token. He did not run into any of the baddies, so he is good to go.
Meanwhile, ArchfieldMonk still exploring out. This is a very, very long stretch for him. Getting that refill, and Brecconary is helping out a lot. He's also got some more equipment to help him survive better, and he's starting to look in pretty good position for getting a lot of exploration done.
Yeah, at first it was looking like Swamp Cotton was going to be fairly small, but it's opened up to a lot of land here. So Brecconary, as much as we all grown, actually was very good for Archfield.
Yeah, and at that point in the seed, that's the second town that we found. I'd be happy to find anything when I'm that low on resources. And MonsieurSlime running into a red dragon. That is an unfortunate stroke of luck there. That's just a rough enemy to run into right now with only 43 agility.
Over on Archfield's side, Swamp Cotton is still going, but I see a cave up there in the northern part, and I believe that cave has to be either Tablet, Harp Cave. We haven't seen Bonus either, right? So one of those 3 caves.
Yep, that's exactly right. So this is going to be huge if the harp trade-in is there.
Wait, did we miss him going into it? He didn't seem interested in it.
I think he was just checking his bases, making sure, because he still has not seen the grave yet, so he does not know where the grave is. He thought maybe that might be the grave, so exploring that out until the dead end is a good idea there.
And Free Stuff Cave has gold in it. I don't know if you'd want a gold grind. I don't think there's any town nearby, but yeah, free gold.
Yeah, if he had the return spell, I would say that it's definitely a thought that would go through my head, just because Cantlant's right there with the silver shield there. But there were some other good upgrades there as well that wouldn't take too terribly long to do get a grind on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'd want to do a silver shield. That would be a lot of in and out. But I could see doing it for a broadsword. I could see doing it for a full plate. A large shield, definitely. It'd be a decent little upgrade. But yeah, without return, do they have wings? I thought they got wings somewhere. They might have reset wings away. But yeah, you would want to Ghetto for maybe like 3,000 or 4,000 to get a little increase. But at the same time, he's not done exploring Swamp yet, so he probably wants to finish exploring here first.
Yeah, absolutely. To answer the question in chat, so the remaining chests that we have are the 3 chests that are in Garenham. So yes, that is correct. We do need Garenham. Garenham will be guaranteed. Well, actually, no, because they actually already have the stones. We have everything. We just need to find the Harp Cave at this point for turning in quest items at this point. But Erdrick's Sword can be in Garenham.
Yeah, so as far as things we're looking for, right, Demarine has it the 1 bottom chest engraved, 3 in Garenham, as far as chests go. As far as treasure chests go, the only things we're really looking for are the sword and the fighter's ring, maybe. The fighter's ring's not really necessary. The sword, probably necessary. We already know the death necklace is the top of the grave, and other than that, the treasure chests aren't that important. But there are still the 2 search spots for the armor, the overworld search spot that the coordinates that MonsieurSlime has, and the search spot in coal. So they're going to want to find that armor in one of those 2 spots, and they're going to want to check Garenham, hopefully, for the sword. Otherwise, we get to play the pyramid game and see where in Sharlock that sword is. Oh, thank you, Demarine. I forgot about Hawksness. Yes, Hawksness could have something too.
Right now, I would say that the search for towns is on.
Yeah, Garenham's going to be a big one. Whoever finds Garenham first, you got 3 chests in the back, and you also have a cave, which at this point is 50-50, right? Between Harp Cave and Tablet Cave. So Garenham could be very, very important. That could be very pivotal for this race.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see the large shield pick up here on ArchfieldMonk's side. And that's going to give him an extra 8 defense, which is a fairly large margin. He's now starting to reach a point where he can take on some of the enemies around here without too much fear.
Meantime, MonsieurSlime is getting full value out of that sleep spell. He is still using that sleep spell to take out wolves, to take out metal scorpions, to take out pretty much anything that comes his way. So he's doing a very good job getting rid of these enemies. And looks like he's over on Swamp Continent. He's gonna miss Breckenary, I think, by a screen, but whatever, who cares? And he finds Remolder instead.
Yeah, I'm glad that he picked up Remolder. That's going to be pretty big for him, seeing as how he has not bought any extra keys in Tantagel that I know of.
And ArchfieldMonk has found out why they call it Swamp Continent, because you have an entire screen of swamp. The whole thing is nothing but swamp. It's a good thing you have 20-some heals.
Yeah, the scene has definitely been kind to them in that respect. See, and I don't like this risk here. This is a huge risk for him because that Wolf Lord has Dragon Lord 2 Breath. Only that 25% chance that we saw, but there it is. And that's an instant one-shot for us right now. So that's a big time loss if something important ends up being where he was at.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you. I wonder if maybe he forgot about that, or maybe he hadn't seen it yet, because it looks like main continent's pretty small, and it looked like there's a good chance Garenham and our missing cave were over there somewhere. Also, we haven't seen Sharlock yet, have we? So, I mean, there's a good chance it all was over there, and you don't want to take a death when that's really far away.
Yeah, he definitely probably was not happy to see that death.
And MonsieurSlime is trying to convince his namesake to stick around a little bit. He's asleep, but... oh, didn't get a hit there. Alright, he's on 2, but he's snoozing. See, Archfield. Oh, I thought he was gonna go after that Wolf Lord. If you go after a
He
Wolf
got
Lord
it.
near their castle, I'm okay with that. But yeah, way away. Oh, sorry, you're right. Monsieur got.
And that is huge for him. That's close as us up to a 300-point experience lead.
And he'll like that extra HP for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Not too much else to write home about, though, on that level.
See, I like this from Archfield. When you're near the castle, I don't mind him casting Sleep and trying to take out these Wolf Lords, even Wraith Knights. He's pretty close to the next level, so I like him just grinding up to its 1500 experience. I like him just grinding up to the next level before heading out again, because you might as well. It won't take that long to get level 3.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great play. And who knows what's hiding behind level 10. I mean, we're still in the search for hurt more, still in the search for heal more. Return could be helpful with how far they're having to travel away from the castle. So there's just so many things that they can gain from leveling right now.
Yeah, it is a little sad when you're at level 9, you have 3 spells, but at least one of them's heal. And actually, like I said, I've been using a sleep a lot. Oh, MonsieurSlime, spotting the evil castle. I'm not sure if there's any town really near. Ooh, the wizard got him. He couldn't run from the wizard. I'm not sure if there's any town nearby. I know I'm always hoping that that one last town, in this case Garenham, is right next to Sharlock, so you have a nice refill point. But it kind of looked like there wasn't much around.
Well, and at this point, I mean, we haven't seen Cole, we haven't seen Hawksness, and then we obviously have Garenham left to find as well, and so that would have been huge if it was right there for him.
Ooh, this blue dragon giving MonsieurSlime fits, but he wasn't too far away from the castle, so it won't be too big of a time loss.
Yeah, and that 44 agility, he's just barely under that 50% mark, so I can't blame him for at least trying on running away there.
So the other thing too is we saw MonsieurSlime pick up the coordinates a while back. They pretty much have to go that direction to get to Swamp Cave to proceed. So I'd like to see him check out those coordinates as he heads back towards Swamp Continent. That would be a nice little bit of routing, a nice little thing to do on the way.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like it's just right there, right next to where he needs to be. If I'm counting correctly, I mean, obviously they're moving a little bit faster than I can count single tiles, but we should be just west of the Swamp Cave and a little south of it, and that's going to be where our search spot is.
And on Archfield's side, he's found the grave. He did the grave in the dark again. I think he's just trying to swag more of these graves these caves at this point, which is cool. But he's got his death necklace, so if this becomes a death necklace seed, he's right in there too. He nopes out. He's not interested in the bottom 2 chests, so he's gonna keep on going.
Yeah, and that's definitely a respectable play. I definitely would not gamble on the bottom of the grave having the sword at this point. Just with the sheer amount of things that we still have left to find. We have 7 chests in Sherlock to find. We have 3 in Garenham, and that vastly outweighs the 2 that are at the bottom of the grave.
And speaking of which, Archfield gets a pretty decent level 10. It was 9982. And a screen away, he has found Cole, so he might have his armor right now. We'll see. He's either going to get an armor, a flute, or my personal favorite, nothing. Ugh.
It seems more often than not I see nothing in coal when there's only 2 search spots.
Oh, yep, you're not wrong. Cole had the big, bad nothing. Yeah, Demarine pointing out that MonsieurSlime was in the grave. He was 1 screen away from Cole. It could have been disastrous if the armor was there, so that's a really good turn of events for MonsieurSlime, that nothing was there, because he could have been very, very far behind if that was the case.
Yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, it wouldn't have put him super far behind. Because at some point, I would imagine that ArchfieldMonk is going to go, oh, hey, I haven't checked the coordinates yet. Cantlin's just to the east of the castle. Let's go look. And once he sees those easy coordinates, I would imagine that it would be a fairly easy thing for him to go and double back and check for that, which would actually put MonsieurSlime a little bit ahead if he found Cole.
Yeah, the only thing that I worry about there for MonsieurSlime is it's really terrible when you miss a town by 1 screen, because you don't ever think to go back there. There was one seed I played about a month or so ago where you came out of SwampCon and you could see most of the coast, but not all of it, and I kept assuming there was nothing there. And it turned out that if you went 2 tiles over, you could see a town, and it turned out that town was very important. So I would have felt bad for MonsieurSlime if the armor was there, because it can take him a long time to double back there and just check 1 tile over, so.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and that's always something that's disappointing to see as a runner.
Meantime, by the way, MonsieurSlime has been hanging around the castle. He's been grinding. He's picked up level 10, and he's about even on experience, so he's come back really nicely here.
Yeah, 2 metal slimes even the odds. It's pointed out by Demarine in chat for us. So he's actually taken a small. Well, never mind. When it's this close, it's kind of hard to tell who's in the lead. But yeah, right now I would say that ArchfieldMonk definitely has the lead here, just with the amount of exploration that he's completed.
Yeah, that is true. And again, he has the coordinates, so if the coordinates turn out to be the armor, he is in really, really good shape. Meanwhile, Archfield is in some dark cave, and I didn't catch which one. Is he back in Mountain? I don't know what's there for him.
I don't think this is Mountain.
Is he doing Tablet in the dark?
No, he's got encounters here.
Oh, that's fair, yeah.
I don't know what this could be.
Yeah, he's already cleared Mountain. He's not doing the bottom 2 of Grave in the dark, is he?
He might be. I don't do it enough to actually know what it looks like, so we're just gonna have to sit patiently and wait, I guess.
I do like him taking out that rogue scorpion, though. That is very nice to pick up that experience. Boy, look at the movements. I have no idea. It doesn't look like just running from a red dragon like it's nothing. That's awesome. Yeah, I have no idea where he is right now.
Well, as we had stated before, I wonder if he's in Swamp. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it looks like he's in Swamp. He might be checking to see what the grind tile is.
Well, the problem with that is he picked up a treasure chest, I think, right?
Yeah, that's right.
He's in the grave. He is, right? That's lower grave he's doing in the dark. Wow. I'm impressed.
Yeah, that's intense.
Man, I can barely do lower grave with light. I'm impressed he can do it without light.
Yeah, this is definitely a very impressive play here. And I talked a little bit about this, and so he might be, telepathically listening to me talk crap on the fact that he's only got 2 chests left in here. But fortunately, I was right. There was nothing in the bottom of the grave.
That is the most trolly thing in not the most, but one of the most trolly things. When you do a cave in the dark, and at the very end, it gives you a torch. Thanks, game. Thanks.
My personal favorite is when you do tablet in the dark for the torch at the very end when you have outside.
Oh gosh, I don't even try tablet in the dark. Tablet in the dark is a soft lock as far as I'm concerned. I will never get out of that place. Archfield picking up a red dragon, but it was after he cleared the grave, so actually that's perfect. Perfect death warp for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And it puts him in perfect position to just continue right on exploring. And once again, we see that these runners are pretty close in experience. One has some information that the other doesn't, like MonsieurSlime. He has the coordinates. He knows where Sherlock is. ArchfieldMonk, he has the information of Cole. But we see that he's picking up the coordinates right now. So we'll see what happens here.
Oh, there you go. MonsieurSlime has found Cole, and he's on his way to pick up the nothing. Archfield is about to get the coordinates. I wonder if he's going to try it. Monsour's left the coordinates, so that advantage might be slipping away if he doesn't check the coordinates soon.
Yeah, absolutely. There's still the potential troll that it's the fairy flute, though, so these coordinates could be absolutely meaningless.
And Demarine pointing out in chat, and I think I agree, we're pretty much dead even. They have about equal exploration. They both have the coordinates now. They've both seen the same towns. It is pretty much neck and neck here.
Yeah, and at this point, the only thing that's separating them is the fact that ArchfieldMonk has picked up more exploration on Swamp Continent, but MonsieurSlime has Sherlock, so I would definitely agree. This is pretty dead even. There's a couple of 100 experience points that are separating them, but as these runners are proving, that is not that big of a deal. And absolutely, ArchfieldMonk with the count with the reference point that I had mentioned earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. Archfield was glaring out over the ocean, checking out the sunset and all, and definitely counting up. He's going for these coordinates. He's got his reference point, and he's going to make a play for it.
I think he's trying for the next level first to see if he picks up anything useful. Repel might be a little useful here. Another thing that could be very useful would be Hurt More as well.
Yeah, I don't mind this that much. He's about 100 experience away. I would kind of hope he'd try to get that experience on the way to the coordinates, but it's not bad to hang around here. It won't take very long to hang around here and get his last few experience points.
Well, and the big thing there is that it's really easy to lose track of your count if you're not writing your count down. So we might be wrong too. He might not be planning to count at all. So who knows? Oh man, the enemies in this earlier zones are just starting to run away. This is a little bit less enticing of a grind at this point.
Yeah, the poltergeists are not really what you want to see on level 10. So MonsieurSlime's going to hope for more of those metals, of course. Metal slimes or metal scorpions. And the specter he'd probably be okay with. Those kind of things that are worth much more than the poltergeist.
Yeah, absolutely. But we're going to pick up level 11 here on ArchfieldMonk's side. And it's going to come with a slew of attack power, 15, 1 speed, no HP, 4 magic. He picks up the spells of Stop Spell and Return.
Yeah, all the power there, and Stop Spell can be useful. Return is nice just because you don't have to worry about keeping wings with you at the end of the game, because we've all done the Walk of Shame, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. The seed that I did earlier today, Sherlock was on the swamp continent, and the swamp cave was in Tantagel Castle. But I didn't have a return when I finished. It never picked up wings, so I had to walk all the way back to Swamp Cave, and walk through swamp, and then exit and re-enter the castle. It cost me like 5 minutes. It was quite the walk.
Yeah, so return is usually not that exciting, but at least you don't have to worry about things like that. And yeah, Demarine pointing out MonsieurSlime, another medal. Like, I wonder if he's just trying to grind these medals, which, I mean, he's keeping up with the experience, but also at some point he's got to get back out there to Swamp Continent and get exploring.
Absolutely. And the biggest thing for me here is ArchfieldMonk with the count. He is on the move with it. So we're gonna see what's on that search spot.
Oh, no, the fun police say we are not going to see what's on there, because of course they do. Oh, wait, oh, nice run.
Yeah, that's not very good odds for him to run away like that. That's a very, very impressive run. I mean, obviously it's all luck based, but I mean, you couldn't ask for a better time to run from a red dragon.
Yeah, that was a nice run. I will say, though, with their agility, 54 agility, even against red dragons and armored knights, if my math's correct, they're 30% to run. So, yeah, it's definitely nice to get the run there. It's not absurd, but it's definitely nice to get the run there.
Well, we definitely see time and time again how often 50% happens in this game. So it's definitely interesting to watch.
Well, that's fair. This game doesn't understand. There you go. Archfield, great count and finding some armor. That was a really good count. He had to go across a couple little bays and stuff. Yeah, that was really nice.
And MonsieurSlime right next to the search spot and just doesn't know that it's there. So ArchfieldMonk taking a pretty commanding lead here now. Just because he does have that Airdrix armor. Airdrix armor being the strongest armor in the game, giving 28 more defense. It's going to regenerate HP. It does 1 per step, reduces hurt more damage, and also that Dragonlord breath. They can survive that now, as long as they're above 48 HP.
And with that armor pickup, Demarine pointing out in chat that we know that the flute's in an overworld spot because we saw a cursed belt, and so Hawksness has the flute. I doubt any of our runners are going to care enough to search out Hawksness and search out the flute, but if any of them decide to go there, they will be greeted with a little musical melody.
Absolutely. That's going to be a rough spot to be, and a big thing here. We've approached the hour mark. We're just over the hour mark in this race now. And I think that ArchfieldMonk is really going to take a commanding experience lead here, just because of the fact that he's going to be taking on much stronger enemies, and so I have to give the advantage to him right now. It's going to be interesting to see what he does with it, but we'll see what happens.
You know, Archfield definitely has an advantage right now because he has the armor, but MonsieurSlime's on the move. And if he locates Garanham, that could be another turning point. That could be a really big swing in his favor. So he's off on Swamp Continent, where I think Garanham has to be. And, if he finds that first, we're pretty much back to even, I feel like, especially if the sword's there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And also, if the Heart Cave is there. If the Heart Cave is there, that's huge for him. I mean, that's a huge point of exploration, especially if Garanham is tucked away in some little corner. That's huge. That's always huge. So, I mean, it's definitely anybody's game right now. I have to say, this is a pretty intense race to watch right now.
Yeah, that would be the dream scenario. You have Erdrick's sword in the back of Garanham, and you have the Harp Cave. Yeah, this has been a really good race. Like I said, there have been a lot of really good play. I'm really impressed with how these runners have done so far. They're really having a good race here.
Yeah, and you know the biggest thing here is just maintaining experience grinding while exploring. That's going to be huge for these runners here, because with them being so neck and neck in experience, the big thing for them to keep in mind is that they still don't have the stats to take on the final boss, even with Erdrick's sword and Erdrick's armor. So that's gonna be a big point for them to keep in mind here.
Now wait, hang on a second. From yesterday, Tilo was talking about we can do more than 1 damage to the Dragon Lord. If we pick up the sword, we can do more than 1 damage to the Dragon Lord, alright? So we're getting there, we're getting there.
Well, absolutely, absolutely. I actually did see that, and that's actually pretty interesting that actually makes it possible. A little tidbit of trivia for those of you out there: there is an NPC in the vanilla game that actually talks about how Erdrick's sword was said to be able to cleave through steel. So, kind of alluding to that fact that you're still going to be doing damage to the Dragon Lord, even if you don't have the attack power to pierce his defense.
Yeah, both our runners have the copper sword right now, and so if they found Erdrick's sword, that'd be a plus 30 attack power. Now that's nowhere close enough. 111 attack power is not going to get the job done against the Dragon Lord, but you do some damage anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And the biggest reason why I bring this up is because we still haven't seen what's on either of the spike tiles. And so since we haven't seen that yet, keeping the experience flowing is going to reduce that need to go to that spike tile late in the game.
Yeah, definitely. Coming up on, I mean, we're starting to get into grind and go. We still need to find Garenham, but other than that, we're almost in grind and go. And choosing your grind spot will be very important. So even though Hawksness only has the flute, if Hawksness is near Garenham, for example, and you have a really good grind spot there, you know, Hawksness might still be worth searching out. Swamp Cave, I feel like, is not that far away from the castle, so if there's a good enemy here, maybe you want to just start Death Warp, you know, kill as many of you can in Death Warp and walk back. So yeah, the grind spots are coming up, and we'll see what our runners decide to go with here.
And ArchfieldMonk picking up level 12. Some decent strength gain there, some decent MP, most importantly, some decent HP. We're now over the 90 mark. So definitely seeing some of that come up, and we also learned the repel spell as well.
You know, that's another good point that we haven't brought up. Talking about the Dragon Lord and everything, Healmore still has not made an appearance, and you cannot even try the Dragon Lord without Healmore. So our runners will have to keep going at least until they get Healmore.
Yeah, absolutely. And they are guaranteed to pick up Healmore by level 16. With them having to do as much exploration as they are, and them going through some decent enemy zones, I think that it's a pretty reasonable request that they'll have Healmore by the time they're ready to dive Sharlock.
And looking at the stats now, once Archfield finds the Erdrick sword, he's going to be at 122 attack power, and that's not that far off. His HP, not that far off. You'd like to have 96. The agility is going to be miserable. Let's not talk about that. But, you know.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the end of this race unfolds. But answering Tilo in chat, so the seed recap is we started with 2 magic keys from the throne room. We've had some pretty interesting plays. MonsieurSlime picked up the Cantlin coordinates, Cantlin just east of the castle, fairly early on in the reset to keep his key. So he's had that information for a long time, and those coordinates are very, very important with it having Erdrick's armor. The token was in Mountain Cave. The heart is in Remoldar in the double lock chest. And currently, right now, what we are looking for is we are looking for Garenham for its 3 chests and the potential of the Silver Heart Cave being there. It's a 50-50 chance for the Heart Cave to be there.
Yeah, and as far as treasures go and such, we're looking for Erdrick's sword still. You got the, like you mentioned, the 3 chests in Garenham. Otherwise, we're diving Charlock. And we're also looking for the Fighter's Ring, which, only gives 2 attack power. But that 2 attack power could make a really big difference in your Dragonlord 2 fight, as MonsieurSlime picks up level 12 and gets that big strength boost.
And ArchfieldMonk at Rimuldar, and if I remember correctly, Charlotte was just southwest of there through that swamp.
Yep, that sounds good. Yeah, our stats are pretty good. We could start attacking and killing red dragons if we had heal more. Unfortunately, without heal more, red dragons are gonna be a little too tough. But yeah, the stats are starting to get there.
Yeah, and see Improv bringing up that the Red Dragons are definitely the real fun police in the seed. And that has definitely been the case, as both of our runners have died a couple of times to them. Interestingly enough, we have not seen an Armored Knight yet, which is usually in pairing with the Red Dragon on terms of difficulty.
Oh darn, no Armored Knights. Bummer.
You know, you could sound a little less enthusiastic about that.
I'm sure our runners are just crying their eyes out that no Armored Knights have shown up. Actually, to be fair, if you have Hurtmore, you want them to show up. But with no Hurtmore, I'm pretty sure they're not missing them.
Yeah, absolutely, especially with them not having heal more. If they had heal more, they'd definitely be no issue at this point. And I definitely agree with CD Improv pointing out that this isn't a really too terrible of a zone here. That's just west and south of Garenham. And we see a bridge tucked away that leads to another part of Swamp Continent. Could Garenham be here?
Oh no, it's just a giant Sparkover Island.
And that's actually right where we come out of the swamp cave on the first continent. That's literally right next to that. So it is technically one continent, I guess, because they are linked, but you can't access the second continent without swamp.
And MonsieurSlime was taking another go at that stone, man. That's a little ambitious, I feel like. I guess he had the sleep spell, though, so if he got good sleep luck, he might have been able to. But the stone man got the better of him.
Yeah, with 36 defense, that's definitely a tall order to fill. 92 attack power means they're dealing reasonable damage to him, but it's still going to take about 5 attacks on average damage in order to do it. And welcome to everybody from Randomizer 2. I hope that you enjoyed the race that was going on there. Quite a seat that we have on our hands here. Currently, we are searching for Garenham, the 3 treasures within, and we are also searching for the Harp Cave, which we hope is in Garenham.
And we're still searching for Erdrick's sword, which the eviler of us are hoping is still in Charlock. The nice of us probably not, but
Well, I'm always the one that goes for vanilla sword spot, so...
Ooh, that's really, really evil.
So the first seed that I ever actually played in this game and raced, it was I want to say it was like a 9-player race or something like that, and Vanilla Sword was the spot where the sword was, and I was like 2.5 hours into the seed or something like that. It was just absolutely terrible, and I finally forfeited when I saw that the last runner had done. And still no Hurtmore on level 13. We're still at a decent chance to learn some spells here in the next couple of levels, with there only being 3 left. and MTI with his ever famous memes of "I love it" with the 0 stat games. There's actually been quite a few of them this seed. I think I've seen 3 or 4 of them that were 0 HP.
Yeah, MP, whatever, that's adorable. HP, whatever. We have 108 attack power with the Copper Sword. The Copper Sword can stab red dragons pretty consistently. And as Demarine points out, we'll be at 138 when we find the Erdrick Sword. You could almost do that with 0 heal mores. I mean, obviously you need heal mores, but that is a lot of power, and you still have a couple levels you're probably going to pick up.
Yeah, absolutely. This seed has been very, very generous with the strength. Unfortunately, the other stats really starting to fall behind. We're not seeing a lot of huge gains there.
Yeah, I mean, if you pick up the sword, so starting to do some Dragon Lord math here. If you pick up the sword, and yeah, Tilo is going to point out the minor detail of heal more. Yeah, I know. But if you picked up the sword right now, you would only need 11 attacks on average. So yeah, you definitely need heal more, but we're definitely in range. 11 attacks, 75 MP. That's not that far off.
Yeah, but with 69 agility, the chances of us getting down there with full resources are pretty slim, depending upon what's actually in Sherlock, of course.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, like Tilo says, we're gonna keep grinding until we get heal more one way or another. So we could be here till 16.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see how it unfolds. MonsieurSlime just right on the heels in terms of experience of ArchfieldMonk here, just trying away at it. Unfortunately, another red dragon just decides to swing, and he's in the bottom of the grave, so this is a pretty efficient death warp here on his part.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I saw him pick up the bottom level torch, so the death warp is definitely welcome.
We also see that ArchfieldMonk picked up a broadsword in Cantillon, so that's going to be an extra 10 attack power for him. He is definitely within range to be 3 to 4 shotting a red dragon. So it'll be interesting to see if he decides to take him on or not.
I am a little sad though. I was kind of hoping to see a Copper Sword Dragon Lord fight. That would be amazing.
I think the lowest that I've seen is a hand axe finish, and they have like 140 attack power with the hand axe.
Well, the one that always amazes me is it was a couple months ago. I know Mr. Holmes ran it, and other people run it. The vanilla no equipment at all. Not even Erdrick's armor. So I don't know how you do that, but that's impressive.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how it works either. I'd have to sit down and watch it, but I would imagine that they have to be like level 20, 26 to 28 or something like that, just to have the HP and the strength to survive it.
Oh yeah, you go to very, very high levels in that. I forgot what level it was. I watched the end of one, and you go to very high levels. Oh yeah, Tilo pointing out Beta Strep. Of course, I forgot Beta Strep has the world record at 15 hours. But yeah, I remember that now. That was a really good run. I saw the end of that one.
And thank you for pointing out that 27 is when it becomes viable for a no equipment run. Thank you so much for that information.
Yeah, with no equipment, you're having a great time trying to get up to 27.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't imagine it. I mean, I have patience problems trying to grind inside of Hawksness at level 13 with the armor and the sword.
Well, don't forget, even worse, it's vanilla experience. So that's got to be, I don't know, 30 million experience or so. Hopefully we won't have to go to 27, but yeah.
Tilo pointing out in chat, one of these days I'll try 23 plus hurt wars. And that's always hilarious. So there's a strat where if you're falling behind on the Dragon Lord, we call it YOLO strats, and you try to hurt more of the Dragon Lord. The final boss is susceptible to the strongest attack in the game that the hero can obtain, but he only has a 1 in 16 chance of it actually happening.
So meantime, as pointed out in chat, Archfield got a metal slime, so he's finally on the board. It's still 3-1, but he got a metal slime. And he's rapidly approaching level 14, so he's done a really good job of, he's exploring, he's looking around for Garanham, but he's also kept the experience going up, which, if you can do two things, if you can get experience and explore at the same time, that's not bad.
Yeah, that definitely puts you in a much better position for the end game. It's always the case there, and he's going to pass by the big C here, so we'll find out if Garanham is nearby.
I mean, it pretty much has to be, right? Garanham and Hawksness almost have to be down here. I don't know where else they could be at this point.
I believe there was one little islet where ArchfieldMonk died on his first trek around the Swamp Continent. There's a little area east of there that he hadn't explored. But we do have a cave south of Sherlock, so this is a 50-50 chance for it to be either Tablet Cave or the shrine to trade in the silver harp.
Oh no, this one, MonsieurSlime must have missed this by just a tile or two also, right? Because he went by Sherlock, but he didn't see this cave.
That is correct, and we have the Tablet Cave here. And he is going to do some swag in the dark for us as well. This is a pretty quick check. I can't say I disagree with this, especially with that sword still being at large.
I don't know. I'm with Demarine. Like, Tablet Cave in the dark, that is brave because there are no enemies. There's no Death Warp to save you. If you get lost, oh my gosh, and it's a sword. MonsieurSlime missed the sword by one screen.
Oh man, this is turning out to be an excellent race for ArchfieldMonk. He just made a gamble. It's a one chest check with still 10 more chests to check, and it just worked out so perfectly for him right here. This is absolutely phenomenal to watch, and I mean, this is just that good decision making. I'm not going to leave anything behind.
Yeah, so to answer Tilo's question, MonsieurSlime did find Cantlin. He made an early play for the coordinates. As AmusedMiniature said, he used his key, his extra key. He saved, he reset, he got the coordinates. But yeah, like CD said, he made a play for the coordinates. He died, and he hasn't really gone back yet. So he's still missing that. He missed Tablet Cave by a screen, so he's had some rough luck. He could be right in this with a little better luck, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I'm definitely going to say that he's not out of it yet. We do know that Garanham, which we just found on ArchfieldMonk's side, holds the heart trade-in, so we are very rapidly approaching the end of the seed.
Yeah, that exploration and finding Garanham, MonsieurSlime is starting to fall a little behind just because of missing things by a screen and such. He needs to find that armor really quick. He needs to find that Tablet Cave, and he needs to get to Garanham real soon because Archfield is very, very close to being in a grind and go.
Yeah, and Jerk is right in Tantagel Castle, so unfortunately there's going to be some doubling back here. But he's going to cast the return spell and just take care of that right now.
Yeah, also CD pointing out that was a really good play he made at the coordinates at Cantlin. And he hasn't played bad, he just has missed things by one screen, which, what are you going to do? You turn left and should turn right. You go up and should have gone down. Like, what are you going to do? But he gets that big power boost, so we'll see if that helps him get some of this exploration done. Archfield feeling like he needs some herbs, so he goes raids the king's herb room.
Well, that's a lot better than the 6 to 13 gold that's in there in the vanilla.
I mean, I just mean, is it slightly sketchy that the king keeps all of his herbs behind a locked door? What is he trying to hide?
Absolutely. But we've seen the king hide all manner of things there.
Actually, CD's right. Saffron might be more expensive than the other stuff we're thinking of. Ooh, or vanilla too. Vanilla's delicious. Vanilla beans are also probably more expensive than the things we're thinking of. All right, so Archfield is in grind and go mode. We'll see where he decides to grind. Again, he pretty much is just grinding for heal more. Once heal more shows up, you know, that 69 agility is sort of sad, but everything else is plenty good. So, you know, you pick up a couple more levels, you're going to get the HP, you're going to get a little more agility, and you got to go. So as soon as he gets heal more, he's going to be in go mode. So we'll see where he decides to grind. I'm going to assume he's going to check the swamp spike tile here.
I would imagine that's going to be the case, especially seeing as how we've kind of narrowed down that Hawksness as a pretty far walk away. But it's going to be near Garenham, so it's going to depend upon what's on this spike tile here. But Stoneman in this cave here is just going to be absolutely phenomenal, but he just decides to nope out of it.
Ooh, Stoneman, not interested. There's better grinds than that. Like, if you have to, I'll grind a Stoneman on a spike tile, but I pretty much want any other enemy.
Yeah, absolutely. He just ran into one randomly. He did not actually check the spike tile there. So that kind of leads me to think that he's going to go for Sharlock here.
I mean, I would at least. I thought the stone was on the spike tile. I would at least check the spike tiles because, you know, Sharlock is fine and all, but if you get a guaranteed encounter every step, like, that's really powerful. That is worth a lot.
Well, and maybe he's banking on Healmore being right here. This battle could just give him Healmore, and then he's just literally, let's go beat Sharlock.
Yep, and there's level 14. Nothing. Oh no, 3360 and no spells. So he's got the HP now. He's probably not sad to see the agility. Agility's over 70, but we're still waiting on heal. You know, I kind of like these seeds. These are kind of my favorite seeds, where you have all the stats to go. The agility is kind of sketchy, but you're waiting on heal more. It just gives you an excuse to grind a couple more levels, and it makes the Sharlock dive that much easier. Sounds like you guys are right. He's making up. Oh no, he's not. He's continuing onwards. Maybe he's searching for Hawksness. CD making a really good point too. He can one-shot metals. So if he goes and finds metals, I think he saw a metal near the castle. There are metals near the castle. He could grind metals at this point. So that's a really good point, CD.
There's also metals that are northeast of Sharlock as well that he has seen as well. So it's kind of interesting to see what he's going for here. I do think that he is looking for Hawksness, though.
Hawksness would be good. I mean, a metal slime grind, though, those are the best.
Yeah, especially when you can one-shot him.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I should be more specific. The one-shot metal slime grind is the best.
Well, and it's still a pretty viable grind when you're guaranteed to do that 1 to 2 damage to him. So, I mean, it's usually worth it when you have this higher attack power here. Ooh, Star Wyverns with the big breath.
Yeah, that's really the first nastiness we've seen from a Sharlock enemy, right? Like, I mean, the Sharlock enemies were punchy and they were killing and such, but you know, the Star Wyvern with Dragon Lord breath, you get run blocked by them a few times, that'll make your day really miserable.
Yeah, no, I was definitely a little shocked to see him fail to run to that Star Wyvern because he's actually had a pretty good chance to run away from him. So, unfortunately, the dice just didn't roll his way there.
Ooh, speaking of the dice rolling, though, MonsieurSlime has found Tablet Cave. He's going to have his Erdrick Sword, so he's starting to catch up. And actually, despite Archfield being in Grind and Go, MonsieurSlime not that far behind in experience, so it's definitely he's still in it for sure.
Yeah, I think at this point, MonsieurSlime is definitely hoping that Hawksnitz has the armor. We haven't seen him make a play for the princess, We haven't seen him attempt another count yet. I think that that's probably what he's waiting on. Either that or he's waiting for heal more for the Spike Tile and Swamp. But he is doing a phenomenal job with the experience here, even when he's at quite the equipment deficit.
Yeah, I mean, he has the coordinates. You should check the coordinate. I feel like I like checking the coordinates because they're a known thing. Hawksness, you don't know where it is. It might be out in the middle of nowhere. It might take forever to find. Apparently, it's in the middle of nowhere in this seed because no one's found it yet. It could have a red dragon guarding it. Good luck. Oh, speaking of which, there's Hawksness. And you just have it could have the nothing. And I feel like going for the known quantity is better. But let's see what's there. Not good defense power, but 138 attack power. He's going to be in good shape against basically anything here.
The only thing that I would be concerned about here would be if I saw a golem. If a golem is indeed here on this spike tile, it's doable, but it's not perfect. But we do have a stone man here, so this is a pretty safe fight with them. Very susceptible to sleep.
And very susceptible to getting smashed for 55. Good gosh. But he's going to be very sad to see a dumb fairy flute, unfortunately. This should tell him, though, that he needs to get back to the coordinates for his armor. So if he heads back to Tantagle, and he knows he needs to get his armor, if he gets the armor really quick, I mean, he's right back in this. He's right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And he also knows that the Spike Tile and Hawksness not necessarily desirable. I mean, that guaranteed encounter every other step is always great, but this could definitely make Swamp the better play. And with ArchfieldMonk kind of wandering around here, I gotta think that he's still looking for Hawksness, and he'd probably be pretty disappointed to see all that time wasted just for a Stone Man.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I feel like that's got to be what Archfield's doing. He's got to be hunting around for the Spike Tile and Hawksness, and it's not great. So yeah, if MonsieurSlime goes back home, he gets his armor, there he goes. And if he checks the Swamp Spike Tile, Swamp's not that far from the castle, so if that's a favorable grind, he could just sit there and grind away and Death Warp over and over again until he's ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely. The big thing for Monsieur, though, is that he still hasn't turned in that harp yet, so that's got to be in the back of his head as well.
Oh, I forgot he hadn't found Garenham yet. I thought I saw him wandering to Garenham. Yeah, that's a bit of a problem. Oh, well, here we go. Archfield's gonna build the bridge, and he's the first one to Charlock. We'll get a little glimpse at the top zone at least, and a green dragon. Good start. You like seeing those guys?
Yeah, absolutely. These enemies, the green dragon is a very, very favorable enemy. We're pretty much guaranteed to two-shot them every time. But he's running away. That's kind of a curious thing to see there. But who knows? Who knows? They have far better record than I do. So
yeah, I'm a little curious. At first, when I saw him start to walk in, I thought he was going to try to pick 15 up on the way and hope that Healmore was there, because if you get Healmore, they have the stats for sure. So I thought that was going to be a really good play, but he's running from things. Let's see. Is he close? Is he maybe banking on the Spike Tile? Is he going to check the Spike Tile at the bottom and try to pick up 15 there?
I don't know if I really like that play though either, because once again that comes right back around to all this time you're gonna dive all of Charlock just to get to a Spike Tile, and there's no guarantee that you're going to get down there with all your resources. So it's not an efficient grind. The Stone Man and Hawksness would be a better grind. Granted, he doesn't know where that is, but he does know where Swamp is, and he has not made that check yet. So it's definitely curious to see him make this play.
Well, there he goes. He's attacking a wizard, so he is picking up some experience. Maybe he's being really select about what he fights on the way down. I kind of like this, because if you pick up 15 on your way down or on the lower floors and it has Healmore, you are right there and ready to go kill a Dragonlord. None of this, let's go dive. None of this wasting time. If he can get 15 on the way down and has Healmore, he is in really good shape.
And unfortunately, both the AKs and Red Dragons on the second zone here. That is just absolutely terrible at this agility. So hopefully it works out for him, whatever he's got going on.
Ooh, he's made the decision to punch through Red Dragons. They are about a 1 in 3 chance to run at this agility, but he's punching. And that's not a bad play at 141. The Red Dragon's not going to say much. Ooh, MonsieurSlime finding another Red Dragon as he counts. He's just having a horrible time trying to get there. Those fun police do not want him to have his armor.
Yeah, absolutely not. And that's just a prospect that's got to be haunting him, because that's the second time that it's happened now. Just really unlucky, because that is a 5-enemy zone there. We've seen Wraith Knights, we've seen Rogue Scorpions, Axe Knights, and Red Dragons, and I don't remember what the other enemy is in that zone, but I'm pretty sure that we've seen 5 in that zone. So that's just really, really unlucky.
CD pointing out that he was going for the princess there, so... And that's not terrible. Swamp's not that far away. We'll get to see what the spike tile enemy is, and yeah, you know, it's faster than getting lost over and over again, so... Oh, he might be going for reference point again? Let's see.
And ArchfieldMonk making the decision to beat through AKs as well. I can't say that I disagree with that, though. He's in need of experience right now. He knows that. And if he's at full HP, he's a strong favorite to beat them. And he's on the final zone of Sherlock as well. Hopefully this is a little bit more agreeable.
And we're picking up MonsieurSlime. He was counting out from the castle across the water, so he is back on his way for the armor. Let's hope those jerk dragons leave him alone. Also, Archfield rapidly approaching level 15. He only needs, what, 25? Yeah, 25 more experience. And if that has heal more, he is in really good shape. He still has 9 heal mores and plenty of attack power.
Yeah, absolutely. And the big thing here for him is that he's picking up level 15 right here. But even if heal more isn't here, he still has full resources to push on this last set here. But heal more is here, as is hurt more. So he is in great shape. This is a very, very heads-up play. This is top run play right here, I would say. He took the gamble, and it worked out for him.
Yeah, he is in absolute control now. Picking up 15 on the way down and getting heal more on the way down. Working out great. He has 1 more heal more he could burn and still be fine. He is a heavy favorite at this point.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but this is pretty much his race to lose at this point.
Also, should point out that big HP gain. At 127 HP, he's going to pick up some doubles along the way, too. So he doesn't even need them. On average, he could do this without doubles, but he's going to get a couple of those along the way as well. Yeah, Demarine pointing out the Dragon Lord math. Yeah, it's 11 to 22. So a 16 average, 10 swings with 8 heal mores. So that's fine. You can definitely swing 10 times on 8 heal mores. And if you get a double, exactly, Demarine. Yeah, if you get a double, you are set. Straight on through the spike tile, no problems there. And here we go. MonsieurSlime finally gets past the dragons and gets his armor. Nice count there.
And ArchfieldMonk burning one of those spare heal more, so they're bringing him down to that 8 heal more mark. But he is still a very strong favorite to win this.
Yep, yeah, as Demarine pointed out, you only need 10 swings. You only need 8 heal mores on average, and 1 double basically seals it. And he's a very heavy favorite to get the opening double here.
We'll see. Unfortunately, that fire breath knocked him out of that opening double, but he's going to be right back up to 127. We're probably going to see a double here, I would say. as long as the Dragon Lord decides not to breathe fire. But the Dragon Lord can deal a maximum of 51 damage, I think it is. So physicals aren't really what we want to see here.
So they picked up a little more agility on 15, actually a bunch of agility on 15, and he can get hit for 49. So he has to be careful. If he gets to 49, he needs to heal more, but as long as he watches out for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone was pointing it out to me in chat that it goes in increments of 4 defense, and I couldn't remember where the cutoff was for it.
But yeah, that last level had heal more and hurt more, but underrated. It had a little more agility that did take him out of that 50 range at least. And down to the last heal more, but any second now should go. So we got 2 or 3 more attacks. And there it is.
Absolutely. Get your GGs out to the winner of this tournament race, ArchfieldMonk. In the meantime, MonsieurSlime still having a heck of a time with the luck. Metal Slime dodging him and avoiding the one-shot for some much-needed experience for him.
But yeah, Archfield with just a really good end game. That was pretty much the best dive you could ever hope for. And he's going to finish with a time, right around 140, 141?
An official SRL time of 140.55.
Yeah, that was a really good seed all around. He managed to do his exploration while picking up experience. He got his armor, he got his sword, but also, that endgame was very well played.
Yeah, absolutely. And CD Improv pointing out that ArchfieldMonk will be joining us for a post-game interview. And meanwhile, MonsieurSlime is still in search of Garanham. He just needs to go south of Sherlock and east a little bit, and he'll have it. But there's so much of the Swamp Continent that he has not yet seen.
Yeah, MonsieurSlime's not that far behind. He's got to pick up level 15, which is about 1,500 experience away. And he finds Garanham, and then he's just going to waltz in and smash on the Dragon Lord too. So he's not too far back if he can get a hold of Garanham.
Yeah, absolutely, and we've definitely seen some top tier play coming from this very, very new runner.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, he just got some bad exploration luck, missing a couple things by one screen. So it looks like he's on the right track here. He's about to find Garanham, so he's going to get his Staff of Rain, his drop, and be on his way.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know that we'll see the same exact strategy getting 15 on the way down, but it'll be interesting to see how he makes up the experience he needs.
Yeah, even if he just goes and finds a grind spot, he could grind those stone men even, and it won't take that long to get to 15. And once he has 15, that's a slam dunk. I'm sure he's going to dive, so he is not too far out of it.
And joining us is our winner and victor of this race, ArchfieldMonk. GG to you, sir.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, that was really well played. Would you care to share your thoughts about that dive? Because we were pretty impressed by that.
Wow. I really didn't even kind of intend to win on that dive necessarily. It was more of a scouting dive, but the deeper I got, the more I realized that attack power, I could usually 2 or 3 turn a Red Dragon or an Arbor Knight even, so the low agility wasn't as big of a deal as it might have been. I knew that at that attack power 2, I'd have a spare heal more if I managed to get to the Dragon Lord, so really a lot of things had to break really right for me to win on that dive, never mind there was no guarantee that Healmore was on 15, so since I didn't know where Hawksness was, I thought, you know what, I'll just go for it. If it turns out that Healmore is on 15, then maybe I've got a shot.
Yeah, and both of you have actually made some really top tier plays in this race. It's been pretty impressive to watch. Early on, your opponent MonsieurSlime had grabbed the coordinates early and reset out of Cantillon to keep the key. So he had that information from the beginning of the race. Unfortunately, when he attempted his count, he got sniped by a red dragon. So that kind of deterred him from attempting it again for quite a long time. He just picked up his armor a couple of minutes ago. So right now he's headed over to Garenham, I think, to pick up the Staff of Rain. So he wasn't too terribly far behind. But then on your side, just some top-notch play with not leaving anything behind. There's time and time again watching these races, racing these races, where people tend to leave certain things behind, like the double lock chest and Moldar, things of that nature, and it's come back to haunt them, and you just definitely weren't letting that happen.
Yeah, the exploration was a bit rough. That first continent was kind of small. Wow, it was difficult, but I knew that I wanted to find Erdrick's Cave before I went into Charlock. So I got pretty lucky that it was there just to the south of it, and I wanted to try to clear everything first. So I've gradually come to the thinking that you really, even though there's a strong likelihood that the sword, for instance, could be down there in the treasury, there's also it's just a lot of time lost if it turns out that it's not. So I wanted to try to clear everything if I could, and I felt like based on the start, I felt like I had a pretty decent shot that I was in the neighborhood of at least being competitive in the race, so I figured it was probably worth the time spent trying to clear everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I do have a little bit of a question for the mid game that's been kind of grinding my gears a little bit, trying to figure it out. So, probably right when you guys were around level 8 and 9, you kept returning to that opening zone set that was right near Tantagel, and we did see Wolf Lords there and Metal Slimes, obviously. But what kind of kept you grinding there instead of going back over to Swamp when you first lost in Swamp?
That's a really good question. I think it came down to just sort of the timing of when it ended up. I came back to Tantagel. It usually seemed like I was within 200 or 300 experience of the level. So there were some mid-tier enemies out there. There were the wyverns and so forth, but there were. It seemed like each of those enemies that would have been like an ideal grind, like even toward Cantillon, there was a zone that had some specters, but then those wolf lords were there, and there were some axonites too, and then there was a zone that had. It seemed like it was kind of on that bridge between. There was a kind of a small chunk of zone that was on the way west on the first continent that had some wraith knights, but there were some other things there that I didn't really like. So, trying to find a mid-game grind spot in the seed was pretty rough, and I didn't have very good luck with the metal slimes. I even considered a metal slime grind at the end, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, it was a bit tricky, and there were probably a couple of places where I could have camped out a little bit longer to do some more efficient grinding in the mid-game, especially since we didn't have heal more or anything like that. But it was really just, since I felt like I still had so much more of the map to explore, I wanted to try to do as much work on the second continent as possible without grinding, and for the most part, I think it worked out.
Yeah, absolutely. You were pretty much the first to find pretty much everything that was in terms of requirements. It was a little surprising to see you dive down to the bottom of the grave with how much was still left on the overworld. Unfortunately, it didn't hold anything important, but your opponent ended up doing the same thing as well, so it didn't really cost you anything there. It's just really interesting to see the level of play between the two of you. It's just been absolutely phenomenal to watch.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind. I was pretty down on myself for most of the seed. I didn't feel like I was making a lot of great decisions. I felt like I went for the coordinates a bit late. I did want to wait on it a little bit. Once I had my gold to buy a couple of keys, I thought, well, I could go, but I hadn't really seen the rest of the continent yet. and I thought, well, if I get coordinates and they're far away, I'm prone to waste time going after them, so I waited till I was in a little more of a secure position before I went. But I think if I had that at least to do over again, I probably would have gotten the coordinates sooner.
Yeah, and the big thing there with the coordinates is that you had to go through that zone, not only through the zone that had Axe Knights right there at the beginning, but also a zone that had red dragons crawling in it too. So early armor would have... excuse me. Would have made a big difference in the seed, obviously. But both of you ended up getting it pretty late in the seed, so it didn't really make that big of a difference when the coordinates were grabbed.
Yeah, I'm just glad to have. It really felt, certainly in the first, probably the opening half hour, like we might be looking at, if Hurtmore didn't show up, we might be looking at a pretty long seed. So to have brought this one in under 145, I'd say I'm reasonably pleased with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So with this race under your belt, you go to 2-0. So a very, very impressive record, and also a shot at that playoff spot. Do you have any concerns going into the top tier brackets or anything like that?
I mean, just looking, I brought up the sheet just now so I could take another look, but I had a pretty good, I think most of the top to the 2-0 racer, the 1-0 racers are complete at this point, and the 2-0 bracket's just, it's lethal. So, but I mean, it wouldn't really matter what my record was at this point. It's everybody in the tournament is just capable of beating anybody else, it seems. I know we talk about it a lot, but the depth is just incredible. And so certainly I'm going to have my work cut out for me in the 2-0 section, but there's good racers all over the place. So just a matter of trying to make good decisions, and then in the race you let the chips fall where they fall.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to turn the floor over to Rye Guy for a little bit. I've been kind of stealing the floor here for a bit, so Rye Guy, I'll let you take over here.
Yeah, I mean, I will say one concern I have being in 2-0 is that I might get matched up with you next week. Jeez, that'd be a mess. That'd be really tough. But
well, I'm equally worried about you, so don't sweat that too much.
I'm not sure you have much to worry about over here, but but yeah, that was a really nice. I mean, the whole game, but the end game especially, I think, is pretty impressive. MonsieurSlime, by the way, picked up 15, so he looks like he's healing up and he's going to be going, and he'll be wrapping this up shortly, I'm sure.
Yeah, the agility boost on 15 was nice. It makes the dive, well, and the HP, my goodness. That was just a huge relief to know that the Dragon Lord 2 fight wasn't going to be quite as narrow as I was expecting it was.
Yeah, that 15 HP, we were talking about, it brought Dragon Lord damage down from 50 to 49, so that's helpful. But also that HP brought doubles into the mix, so that was a nice buffer for sure.
Yeah, I had that one double kind of late, I think, with maybe 2 heal mores left, and I just kind of breathed a sigh of relief at that point because I knew, unless I'd rolled just low rolls the rest of the way, I would have been safe. So.
Yeah, we kind of cursed you. I was saying that you had a really good chance for the opening double, and then the jerk fire breathed you for like max. So, sorry about that.
Apology accepted.
It's alright. You still had a couple extra attacks in there, right? So you're good.
Yeah, it was pretty safe. I didn't even look at the rolls. I was keeping track, and I can't quite remember now.
Yeah, we didn't really bother to count either because it was pretty much a lock. You would have had to have really terrible luck to not have won there.
Yeah, I think it was just maybe. It was probably just about average actually. I think it was around 60. I didn't track. Was it? Yeah, it was around 15 to hit. So that was right in the neighborhood. And I knew if I had that, then it would get the job.
So it's pretty interesting to see what MonsieurSlime is deciding to do in Sherlock here. He is still fighting enemies that he's a pretty good favorite to run from. Just that old age adage of agility means nothing. Really, really shining through on his screen here. He does have that heal more to burn, so he's pretty safe here. But yeah, it's interesting to watch.
Yeah, I've pulled it up too. It's an interesting kind of dive when you have this much attack power. It suddenly dawned on me on second baseman of Charlock that I was actually probably safer trying to kill the armored knights and the red dragons than to run away from them. So even though I didn't really want to fight them, I felt like it was the safer decision, which is interesting when you get toward this level of attack power.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That was another really, really astute move too. Like, you're maybe 30-40% to run from them, but you're gonna 2 or 3 shot them, so that's obviously faster. And we see MonsieurSlime doing the same thing. He gets the benefit of an excellent move, but he's also just punching his way through those rougher enemies.
So one thing that I'm a little bit curious about, that I wanted to ask you about as well, is that you didn't bother to check the swamp grind tile. I was a little curious about that, seeing as how it was right on the way. It's a pretty quick check. Obviously, you ended up heading to Charlock. There for a minute, I thought you were looking around for Hawk's Nest. So red dragons having heal is pretty detrimental to this as well, though.
Red dragons had heal? Oh, goodness.
I mean, that's a little annoying as far as time goes.
It's a little annoying. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, you can swing through that most of the time. So it's cost an extra turn, but it's at least not dangerous, and it actually saves the red dragon swinging at you. So that's actually a pretty good thing, I think.
Yeah, if it was heal more, we'd have problems. But yeah, exactly.
That would have been a problem.
They're not gonna hit you. Yeah, they're not going to hit you for 45 before you hit them back.
So so far as the swamp spike tile, that's a really good question. I think part of it was I did think about looking for Hawk's Nest, you're right. I was kind of wandering around a little bit, but I also knew I was of two minds right before the dive, and I thought about trying to do a metal slime grind, but I never really got a great idea for where they were popping up on the second continent. So I thought about that. I really didn't think about the swamp spike tile. I think my main concern by the time that I had the kind of attack power and so forth that I needed to try to fight a grind on a spike tile, I was actually starting to become concerned about being over-leveled by the time I found everything. Because that could happen too on a seed like this pretty easily, because if you get to the heal more still being out there was something that I thought about, but I was actually concerned that I would start taking too many battles.
Well, I did bring that up. Those are some of my favorite seeds, where you're sitting around waiting for heal more because you have an excuse to get more stats, and it usually makes the dive a lot easier.
Yeah, for sure. It's obviously optimal if you get it sooner, but at minimum, I knew that if I still didn't have heal more at 15, then I knew I had to dive. So it kind of makes a lot of the decisions that you're forced to make at that stage of the game kind of linear. And you're right, it does provide you with sort of a lot of insulation for a particularly difficult Charlock dive. And I think this one was, there were a lot of difficult enemies to run from in the middle levels. I didn't see too much that was dangerous in the lower ones, although those Star Wyvern were hanging around as well.
Yeah, the middle level was definitely the one to worry about.
So, just so you know, the grind spot in Hawk's Nest was indeed a stone man. So definitely didn't miss out on much there.
Yeah, wow, got lucky on that. That would have been gross in the seat.
Yeah, I believe I saw sleep on them, and they were casting it pretty consistently as well.
Yeah, I think they had. Let me check my notes here. They had hurt as well. So at least if they put you to sleep, they were casting hurt reasonably frequently, but it was still such a slog. And then our agility was kind of low up through the middle game even, so it was tough to run from them. And then I tried to put them to sleep the one time, and that didn't. I missed a couple of times on that, so they were very frustrating.
It's not too often that you hear about run failures from a stone man, for sure.
What? That's the beta strap special. I had 101 agility yesterday, and I got double or triple run block from a stone man. How are you gonna run from something made out of stone? Is that even possible? It's just so fast.
My personal favorite was I was watching a seed. I want to say it was either Nest Cardinality or Mr. Holmes, and they got back attacked by a magician with 98 agility.
Oh, that happened last night. Even worse, I had 101 agility. I'm away to Charlock, and a red slime ambushed me. Like, is that even possible? I didn't know it was even possible.
So it is possible because it rolls a random number and multiplies your agility by it, and that random number is between 0 and 255. So if you roll a 0, it rolls your agility as 0.
Oh man. Anyway, speaking of which, MonsieurSlime, interesting play here. He picked up 16
Oh,
as like
wow.
a safety level on the way down, and he Death Necklace, so he is gonna smash on this Dragon Lord.
2-turn Dragon Lord 1, hopefully.
Yeah, he should be okay at 151, 161. Oh my gosh. You
Wow.
need like, I don't know what,
Holy
like,
cow.
he's gonna like two-shot the guy or something. Not two-shot, but I mean, he's gonna do a lot of damage. Opening 26 to the face. I don't even think that's a max roll, right?
No, 30 is going to be his max right now. His damage range is 15 to 30.
Oh man, yeah, there's a lower roll at 17. 17 is your low roll. That's amazing. Oh, there's a min at 15. Jeez, he could min roll this out and probably win it, right?
Yeah, I definitely think that's in the realm of possibility for sure. Interestingly enough, level 16 didn't harbor any extra agility for him, though.
You know, all things considered here, at 161 attack power, these are not great rolls. I mean, he should still be okay, but these are not great. They are like average to slightly below average.
Yeah, the only big one that we've seen is 26.
I do like that 24 is only in the realm of average. That's kind of funny. Alright, so even with lousy rolls, MonsieurSlime, with an extra heal more to spare, has finished this off. So good job by him. GG's to him too. He had a really good race. A little rough time, like we said, missing things by one tile or one screen, but finishing it off very nice.
Yeah, definitely get your GGs out. As a newer runner, he definitely put up some stiff competition for this race, absolutely. And
yeah, I mean...
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, you know, he was easily set back. If that red dragon doesn't kill him on the way to the coordinates, if he sees this tablet cave the first time down, I mean, those things can save 10 to 15 to maybe more time, and we'd be looking at a really tight finish. So definitely good job to both of you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, you know, this is definitely one to go back and watch the VOD on. It's some very interesting playing, some very interesting strategies that both of you have put forth, and it just seemed to work out so well for you. So things to be learned and things of that nature for me especially.
And we have MonsieurSlime with us. GG's, Monsieur. That was a very good run. We were saying that, you know, you had a bit of rough time with the exploration, but if not for that, you were right in it the whole.
Thanks, and good game to Archfield. Yeah, the exploration, it felt like I just kept, you know, running into something, and apparently just on the edge of, you know, Garenham, and I feel like there's one other one in there too, but yeah, that really hurt. And then finally caving and deciding to learn to count on the fly, I think hurt too.
GG.
Yeah, and you know, You should be proud of yourself. Absolutely. I mean, the biggest thing that we were talking about in the beginning of this race was that there was some minor route divergence, and then you guys kind of came together, and then you went and you found the coordinates first, and you ended up resetting after you grabbed the coordinates, saving a key. I mean, that's just top level play. That's paying attention to your resources, and that was just a very, very superior play. The big one that lost you a lot of time was that you died twice on the way to the armor. And so that cost you a lot of time because you were counting the coordinates.
Yeah, that stung a little bit, and thanks for the compliments. I've learned a lot just from kind of trying to watch other races and things, and the community's been great too. So if anyone's out here listening, feel free to hop in. Everyone's been great, and it's approachable. So it's a lot of fun, and again, GG to Archfield. He got it done, and on to next week. Finally, it looks like.
Yeah, absolutely, and one record. You're still in the running for a playoff spot in the tournament, things of that nature. And so overall, I'd say that you're doing fantastic, especially with how new you are to the randomizer.
Thanks, Arch. If you're still out there, where did you end up grinding? I feel like I spent a lot of time really near to Charlotte, to the home base. That it felt a little bit excessive while I was doing it, but I couldn't think of anything better. I don't know if you found a better spot.
I really didn't. From what it sounds like, we both spent a good bit of time in that zone 1 where there were the skeletons and the metal scorpions and the drolls and so forth. Is that where you were?
Yeah, and I was kind of hoping, and I hit a couple of metal slimes because it seemed like every now and then I'd get one to stick around long enough to take down. But that was kind of the thought I ended up with too. It's like, well, we'll see what happens here, but this doesn't certainly feel fat.
Yeah, that's the tricky thing about those kinds of openings, is that when you're in the middle of it, it feels like, wow, this is just so slow. But especially with the way that first continent was laid out and with the swamps and everything, trying to go much further in those, say, before level 8 or 9 would have been really difficult.
Yeah, I feel like I lost some time there too, trying to get a little bit too aggressive with exploring. That's something and I think that's so wildly different from randomized, or from seed to seed. But that's still something I'm trying to come to terms with a little bit, is the balance between exploration and just grinding it up.
Yeah, that's a really huge question, especially in the early game. You don't have a whole lot of exploration done, so you don't know what's out there. But you did it. You both of you did a fantastic job accomplishing both grinding and exploring. The biggest thing that me and Bry Guy were talking about late into the race was that you guys were actually really, really close in experience. Even though ArchfieldMonk was able to pick up quite the equipment advantage on you, you were managing to keep within, I think it was like 400 experience of each other or something for quite a while.
Yeah, I'm really interested to go back and watch to see how that broke down, because that's really interesting. That it sounds like there were kind of some divergent strategies in the middle game there, and it sounded like it was still pretty close, apart from, like you said, the equipment advantage.
Yeah, and again, I think the coordinates, I was just a little too stubborn on them, because I tend to not try and count those out, and maybe that's just me being new to it, but eventually it just felt like, I just have to figure this out. And I finally realized, I can see some of the, I mean, this is all on one continent, but I could, get that view of the castle to kind of get that initial, I think it was like 7 west count out, and that helped a lot. But because otherwise that winding path, and that's why I didn't bother initially, it was just, that's going to be a pain to count.
Yeah, those counts when you have to go down, around, and back and forth, those are rough. But you did find that reference point, which is good. You both found the reference point, you both counted out, and that was not an easy count. So that was a good job for both of you to get that armor without the princess.
I just want to say, I know I got pretty lucky there, because I didn't see any red dragons in that zone to the east of the grave there, kind of on your way to the mountain cave, for quite a while, and then I finally got sniped by a couple, but I know I got lucky through that stretch too.
Yeah, they were there. We've met.
Sorry to hear it.
Yeah, we were saying you should change your name to Monsieur Red Dragon. That might help you out a little bit more.
It certainly felt that way today. I've may have come across 4 or 5 slimes, so maybe you're onto something there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, ArchfieldMonk and MonsieurSlimes, do you have any final thoughts on the seed? Any final thoughts on the tournament thus far before we close out for the evening?
Not really. Just want to say GG again to MonsieurSlime. I know it sounded like it was a pretty good race, so I'm really looking forward to watching that back. And I just thanks to both of you, all the Restream team, for our trackers, and for CD for restreaming, and for Mused Miniature, and Ragai. Thanks both of you for commentating too. We really appreciate that.
Yeah. Thanks to everyone who to help make this possible again today, and it's a lot of fun, and I'm hoping to hopefully start being able to jump in here next week and assist you guys where I can. But like I said, it's a lot of fun. It was a good seed. It was I've been lucky so far, I guess, in that they've all been only 2 hours, which I know is it feels a little bit slow, but nothing 3+, so I'll take it.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
feels like with this version of the randomizer, 2 hours is pretty much the new norm, so that's not bad.
Yeah, I was going to say it's pretty common to see some higher numbers. I think that the tournament average, if I remember right from what I was looking at, is somewhere in the 130s. So, I mean, we're looking at some longer seeds and things of that nature, and everybody is doing really well with handling it and maintaining patience. So it takes a lot of patience sometimes with this game, for sure.
All right. Well, with that, I will say that after watching that, you two, I'm pretty. I hope I don't get matched up with either one of you, because that's going to be really tough if I do. So GGs to both of you. Thank you to CD for restreaming and Demarine for tracking. Amused Miniature for commentating with me. We're going to head over to, as CD said in chat here, we're going to head over to Randomania 2, Lord of the Synth and Vrayless, and they're having a little different race. It's a very interesting race. It is a vanilla map seed, so that's definitely worth sticking around to check out.
Yeah, absolutely. And just real quick here. Oh, I don't have it pulled up anymore. So we do have another race tomorrow as well. I can't remember quite the time. So from all of us here at the Randomania Network, CD Improv, the Restreamer, as well as Ragai, my commentary partner, and Demarine, thank you so much for watching. And CD Improv hit me up with the 10 p.m. race tomorrow. So definitely check that out, and we will be seeing you again soon. Have a good night, everybody.